Okay, I think we're about ready to start. I'm just going to check the audio is okay. I'm going to chat up as well. I think game volume might be a little bit too loud at the moment. As soon as we get into qualifying, I'll turn it down for you guys. Just let me know in the chat how everything's sounding. I think we're going to start maybe in the next 3 minutes, hopefully. Alright, we should be ready up now. Okay, so welcome to F1ABEEZ F2, first race of the season at France. I'm your host, Smithy. Hope you all are having a good day so far. If you missed the Season 3 announcement stream, it's a little bit of a different format than what we're used to in F1ABEEZ, especially with the first season of F2. We've moved to full qualifying now, so that's 30 minutes, no more one shot. So we're going to get a better look at the maximum pace, hopefully, of all the drivers. Speaking of the drivers, there's no set grid anymore, so anyone from any tier can show up. So if you're not racing tonight but could have, make sure you come along next week. It's open for absolutely anybody. They can pick their own cars and everything. Let me sort out all my stuff for you guys. Slap, lovely. I'm going to turn down the master volume a little bit because I think it's going to be a little bit too loud. Hopefully that's a little bit better. So we've got 18 drivers, so quite a nice grid for the first race of the season. A couple of drivers I recognise from my times during Season 1. ZC Hypes already is just going to be my early contender for the championship. Absolutely rapid in an F2 car. We've got some drivers coming out of the pits though. A minute into qualifying. It's going to be Mayhem's up first. So I apologise if there's any audio glitches. That isn't the stream, that's just the game. So currently I'm on board with Mayhem's. There's absolutely no engine sound because, you know, this game is just incredible. So that's going to get a little bit annoying. Just going to check that. Have none of them got... Okay, none of them have got engine sound. It's like really quiet. That isn't because I turn it down, is it? Am I having a stupid moment? Okay, so it's still just really buggy. That's a shame, because the F2 cars sound really nice. So I'm just going to have to talk over what's going on. So, in case you don't know how F2 quali works, it's a little bit different to just the one shot where everyone puts on the fastest tyres and goes out. So I believe you have two sets of tyres in 30-minute qualifying. You have the softest compound, which seems to be the softs, and then the harder compound, which is most likely going to be the mediums. And unlike F1, you can set your lap on any tyre you want. You do not start on those tyres, you start on a fresh set of tyres. So if you do your lap on softs and you get them up to about 30%, you're still going to start on those fresh softs, on those fresh tyres. We're going to hop on board with Mayhem's. He's going to set the first lap of F2 Season 3. Let's hope Plazy stays out of the way, which he does, coming into turn 1. Doesn't take a lot of curb, turns in a little bit too early, so has to correct. That's going to cost him some time. Surprised that didn't invalidate him actually. But he's going to head down towards the first sort of mini chicane of the circuit. Once again, half the car on, turns too early, that's an invalidation. Definitely this time. I think it's going to be Harley who's setting a lap next, or actually might be the Dams of Epic Warrior who's coming through the first sector now. Goes a little bit wide through the left-hander. That's going to cost him some time. His teammates in front of him not going to give him a slipstream from the looks of it. Might have cost him the line that he would have taken. He's going to come down the main straight at the moment. It's really annoying that the engine doesn't work because I can't really hear when they're downshifting, when they're de-accelerating, so I've kind of got to guess. So that's always fun. So Epic Warrior should be tucking over to the right side. Takes more of a middle of the track, so an interesting line through the end of the straight chicane. It's going to cost him a bit of time through there, so not going to be an exactly optimal lap from Epic Warrior. We've already lost someone the session. I don't know if that was just someone who joined late maybe. Take a wider line through the right-hander. Now we're at the long running right-hander. We've got a yellow flag in sector 1, and that's a spin maybe for Jake. Yes, he is. He's had a spin coming out of turn 1 on his outlap though, so that might light up his tyres a bit, but isn't going to hurt him too much. But another yellow flag. I think that's just a car going slowly, most likely. I think that's Kieran Froome down the straight on his outlap. So it's going to be Epic Warrior who's going to set the first lap of the session. I don't think it's going to be a lightning lap. I don't think it's going to get anyone too worried at the moment. But he is going to cross the line, and he's going to set a 1:48.1. So I fully expect that to be beaten. I fully expect that to be beaten by the next person who's crossing the line, and they do by almost 5 seconds. 43.6 from Harley. Let's see who's next to cross the line. It might be a Campos. It's going to be Antivirus 18. So 1:43.6 the benchmark to aim. 24 minutes left. We've got another yellow flag. Might be in another spin maybe, or just someone slowing down to let a faster car through. Antivirus is going to cross the line. He goes 1.2 seconds quicker, a 1:42.4. So yeah, as predicted, that lap from Epic Warrior, not the fastest at all. Don't know if he just trying to get used to the car maybe. Kieran Froome has invalidated his lap. I don't know if he's going to go back on a fast lap. Most likely going to do a back-to-back from the looks of it. We've got a uni car coming through. I think that's ZC Hype. So the person that I predicted to win this season for F2, I fully expect him to go top of the leaderboard here unless he's had an absolutely stinking lap. So ZC Hype's going to come down the pit lane straight now. What is he going to set? He's going to set a 1:42.1. So that time actually from Antivirus doesn't look like a bad one. 0.3 off ZC Hypes, who I fully expect to be the fastest driver in this session. Let's see who's going to be next. It's going to be Mayhem's. Goes a little bit wide. So seeing a lot of drivers not really know what line to take at the moment, whether that's just them getting used to the cars or getting used to their setups, but not exactly the most optimal lines. I think we're going to be seeing a time sort of around the Epic Warrior sort of stage. He does go a little bit quicker, 1:48.1, but both of those guys are going to want to look to go a little bit quicker if they want to start challenging the boys at the top. I think that's Capacams who's on his outlap now as well. DG Rocker has retired in the pit lane. Interesting decision there. I think that's a Campos car coming into the pits. It is indeed. That was Antivirus. So, ooh, ZC Hypes. Wasn't paying attention. I was looking at the map, but almost losing it on his inlap there. He's going to pull over to one side and just let Pete go through. We'll hop on board with him as he comes through. He has actually invalidated his lap. Yeah, Scuba Sword, it's every Wednesday. Apparently it was supposed to start at 7:15. I got my time mixed up. I thought the lobby was supposed to open at 7:15. So yeah, you don't need to have an F2 role, just as long as you're in a tier, reserve driver. Doesn't matter. Just put your attendance down. I'm sure you can nab a seat. So Kieran Froome invalidated a lap again, so he's done 2 laps on those softs. But remember, like I said, these tyres are exclusively for qualifying. Antivirus has put on full wets and then taken them off again. Sammy also with a 43.4 that I just missed in the Prema car. I was about to say, I hope Antivirus doesn't come out on those wets, because There's obviously the new penalty that you get if you come out on intermediates or wets when it's not actually raining. I think it's a qualifying ban you get if I remember correctly. Well, I can no longer check how long is left of the session because I presume it's just this yellow flag caused by mayhem off the track. Hopefully that's going to fix itself soon. Yeah, it's a little bit annoying. It's just the little things at the moment. Obviously there's the big game-breaking bugs that Cody's need to fix, especially with online play, as Plazy does retire in the pits. It's just little things like audio glitches and just graphical glitches. Like at the moment there's yellow flags, it shouldn't be blocking how long is left of the session, it should be just to the right of it. So it's just little things that I'm going to niggle about. Cody's to change. So Mayhem's slowly coming round. So I think this is going to be F1ABEEZ on his first fast lap. So we'll jump on board with him. We'll try to do a full lap with him. So turn 1, again a little bit you have to correct. So not exactly the most optimal way to take turn 1. Gets a nice exit out of turn 2 actually. Doesn't manage to extend and get his lap invalidated. We've seen a few drivers turn in too early. That's almost perfect from F1ABEEZ. Keeps one wheel just on that inside curb and then round to the right hand. Our sector 1 is done 25.8. Got to be careful not to put the power down too early here because it can send you into a spin. There is a car backwards. That's Kappa Cams, who I believe has retired. I don't know if he crashed and maybe spun onto the entrance of the straight. We'll see what kind of braking zone F1ABEEZ in. Past 100 metre board, just around about 75 metres out. Harley has retired. He was the one who set a lap time, 1:43.6. It's interesting that a lot of these drivers are retiring in the pits. I don't know if they know how qualifying in F2 works, where it's not F1, where you just... It's scary because you've only got one set of softs and that's your lap time, which is presumably why a lot of people haven't come out yet. You don't actually start the race on those tyres. You start on fresh soft tyres. Or fresh mediums. Like qualifying completely doesn't matter to what tyre you start on, I believe, because this game is weird like that, and F2 has weird rules like that. So let's jump back on with F1ABEEZ. There's another Prema off the track. I don't think he's out. I think that was just Sammy letting F1ABEEZ go, but looks like a fairly decent lap from the ART car. So he comes around the final corner now, has a 42.1 to aim at from the UNI car of ZC Hypes. And I don't think he's going to get it, but he's going to set a fairly good lap time though of 42.8, puts him P3 at the moment. See what other cars we've got on track. We've got L Glasses coming around the sweeping right-hander, and then the long right-hander now. A lot of people take different lines into this. Some people like to go really deep, then got on the accelerator nice and early. Some people like to just tease the brake and try and just carry the momentum all the way around. So there's never a real right way to take that right-hander. A lot of people have different opinions and views of how to take it. But L Glasses is coming round the penultimate corner now, the long sweeping left-hander, now into the tight right-hander of the final corner. You want to get on the power as early as possible, but not early enough that you're going to be sent into a spin. I don't think this is going to be a lap time that's going to challenge those boys at the top, but it is going to be a lap time that puts in P6, 45.3. So currently 8 drivers setting a lap time divided by 6 seconds. So those guys who are in the pits, who are probably just waiting for the last few minutes for the track to wear down to get that optimal speed. As long as you set a good lap, you're looking at probably a top 8 at the moment. We'll see who else is on a lap. So that's F1ABEEZ, who has invalidated. I don't know if this is his fast lap or not. We got also Antivirus behind him on a fast lap, so we'll hop on board with him as he comes through the third sector, see what he does. So once again, they're taking a tighter entrance and then sort of a wider exit. So a little bit different to how I would take it. I usually like to go in wider, turn a little bit sharper, and then get on that power as early as possible just to get that speed down to that left-hander. Loses the back end a little bit there, manages to save it, so that's going to cost him a few tenths around that corner. So I don't think this is it. Yeah, he's going to come into the pits. I think he's going to abandon that lap, which is a shame because it wouldn't have actually been a terrible lap, but would have been nowhere near what he's already set at 42.4. I think we've got a UNI car coming around the final corner now. It's Kieran Froome, so he's about to start his fresh lap. Mr. Lethal Pete now coming around the penultimate corner. Again, I don't think this is going to be a lap that's going to dislodge those boys on the top. He goes really slow actually through that final corner. So I think we're going to be looking towards the lower half of the table, maybe towards the 46s. There it is, 46.1. He goes P7. So it shows, and no disrespect to these drivers, the F2 cars are quite hard to wrap your head around, but it just shows that, you know, you can really jump in this F2 car, set a fairly okay lap and still get quite high up in the standings, because they're just so hard to drive these cars. It takes a while for you to wrap your head around them, how the accelerator works. They're not as generous as those F1 cars, I'll tell you that, but they're also, once you've got your head wrapped around it, as we see Lethal Pete losing the back end a little bit in that right-hander, they're a lot of fun to drive, and especially to race wheel to wheel. Lots and lots of fun to race. So we've got Epic Warrior, who was a 10th and a half up on his time, but he is invalidated, so this lap won't count. So we're going to hop on board with currently provisional P1, who has already invalidated his lap. My prediction, most likely going to be turn 1 and turn 2. That's where you can make up a lot of time on this track, with lots of straights, not many corners. Every 10th matters, and especially how quickly you can get out of that turn 1 chicane. It can save you about half a second. So I think it's easy hype, so we'll just have a cool down lap this lap and go again after this. Just see, I think it's Kieran Froome who's also invalidated. So some drivers struggling to not invalidate. Mr. Lethal Pete has invalidated. See who's behind him. I think that's Lewis Beast. No, it's QWERTY on his lap. So he hasn't invalidated. It's a yellow flag. I think that's just a car going slowly. It might be glasses after the straight chicane. So QWERTY's going to come around the sweeping left hand of the penultimate corner. Doesn't look too bad of a lap time so far. He gets the power down. Would love to know when he got the power down, but this is the game. Do you know what? I might actually just put on this elementary, because I actually know when they're accelerating. That might help me out and help you guys out. But QWERTY goes fast. It's 42.0. That I didn't expect. So those guys at the top who are definitely going to be gunning for pole, like ZC Hypes, Virus and Lewis the Beast, are going to be looking to improve on that time. Epic Warrior has retired. Sammy has retired. We'll see what happens. So ZC Hypes now going to set his fast lap. We'll hop on board with him for the whole lap. Let's hope he doesn't invalidate this time. Much nicer. Sets that right hand up. Almost loses the back end there, but looks okay. I don't know if this lap is invalidated or not. The map says it is, but I don't think he would have invalidated any of those corners. Looks pretty nice so far. He's a little bit down on his time at the moment. That might be an invalidation though. He was 4 wheels off the track. The game is telling me that he's invalidated. Just in case, we're going to stay on board with him anyway and just commentate over this lap. You can hear the spin of the engine despite actually not hearing the engine, because this is an incredible game built by incredible people. It's coming down towards the end of the straight left-hander. Once again, it breaks a little bit later from the last driver we saw, around about that 50-meter board. Those of you who run driver lines, we see Jake Owal not even set a lap. He has retired. I think he might have spun actually out of the slow corner onto the straight. Like I said earlier, you can't put the power down too early, otherwise it's going to send you into a spin no matter what kind of downforce you run. It's just how these F2 cars work. So there goes ZC Hypes, sort of doing the line that I would, going a lot more sweeping out to the outside and then getting on the power a lot earlier. I don't think this is an invalidated lap, because I felt like Hypes would have slowed down, but if he goes into the pits right now, I'm going to be very, very upset, because it actually hasn't looked like an awful lap. I think he's actually running out of fuel. I think he is. No, he's not going to go into the pits. So he's running low on fuel. Fuel light is on, but he's going to set a lap and probably trundle around his slowdown lap just to get back into the pits. So can he reclaim pole back off QWERTY? He can't. 41.8. Oh, he can. Okay, no, so that was an invalidated lap. Interesting. So he would have gone pole by 2/10s, but he apparently invalidated. He's now just going to sit outside of turn 1. Very interesting indeed. QWERTY has retired from the session. We've got Matty on a lap as well. I'll be honest, this audio glitch is really, really annoying. Hopefully it fixes itself for the race. So we've got pretty much half of the grid retired at the moment, whether that's down to a spin or whether that's down to just retiring in the pits. I don't know why people have retired in the pits. Not too sure about that. But we've got a few drivers left. I think it's 10 drivers we've got left actually, if I've Counted that correctly. Maddie's got a car coming up behind him. I think he's just slowed down as well. That might be Mayhem's behind him. It is. So I think neither of them want to give each other a tow on their fast lap. Mayhem's is going to go through. Matty's going to go just the wrong way. Doing a Kimi at Brazil. Doesn't know what way to go. Note to self, F2 setups from F1 2020 do not work on F1 2021. No, they are very, very different because of just how bad the back ends are on this game and how easily it is to spin. You need completely new setups. So it's best just to jump on TT and nick some time trials off people. If you want to nick my setup, you can. I usually set, even though I don't race in this F2 league, I usually set times just because me and Hypes like to have a little TT competition on F2. Honestly, best to take his setup or mine. Usually quite stable. Well, I'm screwed now. I don't know. 17th obviously isn't ideal, but like I said earlier, no disrespect to any of these drivers, but you've got some drivers who haven't set some amazing lap times, and if you feel like you've got pace in you, and you can keep it on the track, I think you can easily make up those positions. So just to quickly run down how F2 works for any people who haven't watched F2 or don't know how F2 works. It's split into two races, feature and sprint. I believe the feature is 17 laps at France and the sprint is 11. Whoever gets pole in this qualifying session starts on pole for the feature race. They also get 4 points instead of 1 that you usually do. They usually get in F1. The top 10 get points in the feature, same point system as in F1, except the fastest lap gets 2 points instead of 1 point. And for the sprint race, the top 8 is reversed, so whoever finished 8th in the feature gets first in the sprint, and once the sprint is done, it's the top 8 that get points. So I think if I remember, like the maximum amount of points you can get on a weekend is about 48 points. So unlike in F1, if someone has like a 40 or 50 point gap, unlike in F1 where it's like that's quite a big margin because it's basically 2 race wins, in F2 it's not a lot at all, 40 or 50 points, so you can basically make that up in one weekend if your rival has an absolute stinker. So we've got the Juicy on our lap, but he has invalidated. We've got 9 minutes left of the session. So with QWERTY, he has retired on a 42.0. We've seen that Hypes can go 2/10 quicker, so it'll be interesting to see if he comes out and looks to challenge that. Antivirus hasn't set a lap since his 42.4, which I was quite surprised at. The fact he was that quick, so maybe he's the dark horse of someone I haven't heard of, but is actually quite rapid in these F2 cars. A couple of others haven't set a lap as well. We haven't had one from the league owner Chav yet. He hasn't even come out. I think he's waiting right till the end to set a lap. Wait till that track is nice and worn down and look for that optimal pace. The Juicy did come out but invalidated and was almost spun in the pit lane. So he's going to come through now. Kieran Froome has set 2 laps. Neither of them have counted, whether that's just invalidated or he's had a spin, but he's come out now. He's actually be one of 3 people out currently on an out lap. I think we're going to hop on board with the Charouse of Mr. Lethal Pit. Actually, this isn't the truth. The Charouse, this is the Prema. I need to get my F2 cars correct. He's in Robert Schwartzman's car. I think that's really cool about F2, and it's something that I hope they bring into F1, where despite 2 drivers racing for the same team, they have vastly different liveries. It's hard to show because Sammy has retired, but you'll see that the other Prema car has like a white and red halo, whereas Robert Schwartzman's car, which Lethal Pete's in, has a blue halo. It goes a little bit deep into turn 1 there as well, so not the most optimal line to take through there. And there's other cars as well. I'm sure there's other examples. There's just I can't think of off my head. I think the UNI cars are different as well. So Kieran Froome is in Guan Yu Zhou's car, which is just the classic Renault colours of yellow and black. And I think ZC Hypes has got that red and black halo. So it's nice having these like custom liveries. I know they're probably all based on sponsors and things like that of the drivers, which is a completely different story. I mean, we saw the impact that sponsors have on this year's F1 cars. So we'll see what happens. So Mr. Lethal Peak currently 4 tenths down on his lap. I think that's mostly going to be down to the time that he lost through the first sector, but we'll see if he can make up any time in the final. He's got a find roughly about 2.8 seconds maybe to try and just gain one position. He's a little bit off the pace of the rest of the pack in front of him, everyone. Currently setting 42s and 43s, and then we've got those 3 stragglers at the back who struggled a little bit so far. But we've got both of the BWT cars now out, so you can see, like, I know it's only the name differences between Markelov's and a Lacey's car, but just a little bit of the difference is quite nice. Just trying to see if there is a difference in these cars. It's just the shadows on those two. So Mr. Lethal Pete's going to come across the line. He's not going to improve on his time. He's going to set at 47.6. So he's going to need to go again with 5 minutes left. See, Mayhem's currently 2 tenths up on his time. That's not going to put him anywhere near even the person in front of him, Epic Warrior, in the Dam's car. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's some of these guys' first time driving F2 cars, which is, you know, it's good practice. As long as they don't make any stupid decisions in the race, as we just see Mayhem's decide he doesn't want to brake for turn 1. Goes straight through the barrier. But I think that's the amazing thing about F2, and I know they're trying to experiment it a little bit, not like similar to F2, but with the whole sprint races in F1, it's just nice having, you know, you've got the fastest drivers setting the fastest times in qualifying. They start the front of the grid in the feature, they go on to usually win the race, and then the sprint comes up, you've got the drivers who aren't the quickest, but aren't slow either. They start on the pack and see if they can hold off those fast drivers who try and make it through the field. So that's the great thing about F2, is you can be a fantastically quick driver in these F2 cars, but if you can't race wheel to wheel, you're going to get points in the feature, but you're never going to get points in the sprint. I found that with my first few races in F2, where I found I had pace, but I just couldn't drive wheel to wheel with certain drivers, and that's why, especially in Season 1 of F1ABEEZ F2, I mostly won the features and DNF'd in the sprints. So both BWT cars on a lap. The Juicy has invalidated, and so has Chavis School. So this is the issue with waiting 25 minutes to set a lap. You put all your eggs in one basket for one lap and you invalidate. You're going to start the race, with no qualifying lap. Once again, I can't see how long is left because there is a yellow flag for no reason. There we go, there's 4 minutes. So Chav is going to completely slow down, let his teammate go through, maybe look to get a slipstream off him for their next lap. I think Antivirus is on his lap, so we're going to hop on board with him. So he's got to find about 4 tenths to get pole position. Obviously, as I've said already, pole position worth 4 points instead of the usual F1 allocated 1 point. So it's quite important to get pole position. 4 points can add up over the course of the season if you're constantly getting poles. I think there's, how many races? There 10 races in F2 this season, or 8? You know, that's 40 points that you can just get from getting pole position. So it's definitely worth giving it your all, as I'm sure Antivirus is doing right now. Get a little bit out of shape through the left hand up. I don't think that should have costed too much time. It's looking good so far, I have to say, from the lap time. Needs to nail this final corner. Could get a little bit tighter. Still looks pretty good. Activate DRS. It's now just a quick dry run down to the line. Is he going to set time? He's going to set a 42.8, so 4 tenths off his time, which is a shame. Lewis the Beast, who is in 4th, he's about to start his lap. Just jump quickly on board with the BWTs. Chav is on his lap. The Juicy has invalidated another lap, so he's really got to get on and set a lap soon, otherwise he's going to be starting down in 14th. Lewis the Beast, I think, has invalidated through turn 1 because he is on those red and black, whatever it's called. Apparently it's like sandpaper to drive on. Something I didn't realise, fun fact for you guys about France. Matty isn't here to give his fun facts about each track or each country. I learned that the the black and blue and the red and blue are quite different in how they stop cars. So while the blue isn't great to drive on, the red is a lot worse to drive on. And because obviously there's not many walls to crash in on and there's so much runoff area, it's supposed to slow down the car enough so it isn't going in at crazy speeds if a driver goes off and crashes. So there's your fun fact of the day, in case you didn't know that. So Chav did set a time. He set a 44.6 as he almost spins on his in-lap, so that's good enough for 9th. He's not going to have time to set another lap. I don't think anyone's going to have time to set another lap. I think our final people are going to be Antivirus, who's invalidated, so he's not going to be able to set this lap. He might have to go again, but he's running out of fuel, so I think that might be his qualifying over. And Lewis the Beast is also invalidated, but if he's got enough fuel, he should be able to go again. So Antivirus has pitted. That is his qualifying session over, which means we're completely down now to Lewis the Beast. Let's see if he just has a slow in lap and just chill with 4th position, or if he's going to go again and try to find 8/10 to take pole position off QWERTY, which absolutely fair play to QWERTY. I would not have guessed that he would be up in the mix for F2, but as I said at the start, I don't know many of these guys' pace when it comes to F2. I only really know the people that I raced with during Season 1, the likes of Hypes, Matty, El Glasses, Chav, Juicy, who's usually pretty quick in the F2, but just couldn't string a lap together from the looks of it. But Lewis the Beast currently a 10th up on his time, so not the kind of pace that he needs to find 1st place. He needs to find 4/10 to beat Antivirus in 3rd. So we'll see what kind of braking mark he chooses. There's 150, there's 100, a little bit later, and about the 60 metres I think. So he's about to cross the sector 2 line. Let's see if he's around that magic 8/10 marker that he needs to find in terms of pace. He is currently just under a 10th, so unless he lost a bagful of time in his last lap on the last sector, I think, well, he might improve Lewis the Beast. He's not going to improve his position, and will still start on the 2nd row along with Antivirus. So quite a varied grid so far. So 18 drivers, only 13 set-in lap times. Quite close at the top, especially between QWERTY and Hypes. You've got Antivirus and Lewis the Beast just behind them. We'll just see if Lewis the Beast can maybe beat Antivirus and go on to 3rd. We'll see if he did lose bagfuls of pace in the 3rd sector. Here he comes now. He does not improve. He stays P4. So that's qualifying done. The first 30-minute qualifying session of F2. But there's your confirmation. QWERTY in the ART. 42-0 gets those 4 points, the first points of the season. Hypes in P2, Virus in P3, Lewis in 4th, Sammy 5th, Matty 6th, Harley 7th, Glasses 8th, Chav in 9th, Pete in 10th, Epic Warrior 11th, Kieran Froome is in 12th, Mayhem's 13th, The Juicy in 14th, and everyone, including The Juicy, did not set time, so that's DG Rocker, Plazy, Jake, and Kappa Cams will be starting at the back. So we're going to wait for everyone to pick their strategies. Obviously, Parc Fermé is on, so they can change certain things about their strategy. They can lower or raise the front wing. In terms of that rear wing, they can't touch it now from their qualifying setups. Be interesting to see what kind of strategies people go on, whether they're all going to start on the softs. So as always with F2, it's going to be a one-stop race. Whether it's the softest onto the hards and then the hards onto the softest. Some people like to flip the strategy. I always like to start on the softest compounds first, just in case there's an early safety car. That's another reminder, you cannot pit in the first 2 laps of F2. You will, it will not count as your stop. So we should have a formation lap here. I think we do, yep, lap 0, so that is it. Let's just sort out what we've got. So just confirmation, everyone starting on the soft compound tyres. So we're just going to put it on position changes for those lap 1 overtakes. Telemetry will need... Oh, beautiful, we've got engine sound now. Thank God for that. Beautiful. Things we absolutely love to see. We've already had some disqualified from the formation lap. They'll just get plonked back to the grids and have to wait for everyone to warm up their tyres. So yeah, this is just going back to what I was talking about the livery. So this is Callum Ilot's Virtuosi car. You've got the nice red and black, and then in comparison to Kieran Froome, who's in the other UNI car, it's the yellow and black. I think it's just really cool that they have sort of custom liveries in F2. So those of you in chat, have you got any predictions for the race win? Is QWERTY going to hold on to P1, take home the first feature race win of the season? I think there's 3 cars that aren't in our league at the back of the grid. Well, let's hope that they don't cause any problems then. The lobby was on invite only, so I don't know how they got in unless they were invited by someone. So the formation lap isn't as important as it is in F1, to be honest. These tyres are quite easy to keep warmed up actually. You don't have to do too much excessive weaving compared to those F1 cars. Well, I suppose this was more in F1 2020. I don't know if they've changed it in F1 2021. But are we going to see a dive for the lead on lap 1, turn 1? Is CC Hype's going to be patient, just hold behind QWERTY, or is he going to absolutely look for that perfect start and send it? It's another thing that's different with these F2 cars. The starts are a lot more different. It's very easy to get bogged down in first gear. So you've got to be really slow on that accelerator. Don't just put your foot down because you're going to get bogged down. You're going to get swallowed up by the rest of the grid. You want to sort of just caress your pedal or trigger depending on if you're using wheel or pad. The rest of the grid is going to line up, and I think we are ready for the first feature race of this season in F2. Everyone's getting back into position. We've got green flags. We're going to wait for those lights. Here we go. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights on ahead of the drivers, and we're away, maybe, in France. Okay, there we go. Now we're away. So QWERTY got away well. Hypes didn't look. We're going to almost go 4 abreast into turn 1. So QWERTY is going to come in through the lead. We're going to go 3 wide into turn 1. I think CC Hype's just hanging on to second place. There's a little bit of carnage at the back. There's 3 drivers off. There's a virtual safety car already. So that's the Juicy, Capacam, Plazy and Mayhem getting caught up at the back. Mayhem just overtaking a car there. So we've got a full safety car now. What a surprise. Capacam's has got a 5-second penalty with a collision with the Juicy. So I don't know if he maybe started that carnage out of turn 1. I don't know if that's a repeat or if that is 2 separate penalties. That is 2 separate penalties. The Juicy's also got a 5-second penalty. So just having a look, just from one corner, Travis Cool up 3 positions. He managed to keep his nose clean for the moment. Jake has retired from the session, interestingly enough, because he actually had a decent start. FG is up 7 positions. Whether he's part of the league or not, he's had a very good start. DG Rock has also retired from the session. Other good starters, Jay Westlake, Bono My Tyres, incredible name, in the Charoos. Yeah, ZC Hypes got swallowed up when the lights went out, but I think just managed to hold on to the outside while everyone was trying to tuck into the inside. Didn't manage to get tagged and has come through, but QWERTY I think will be the person who's most upset with that lap 1 safety car, as he would have gotten away nicely already. I think had almost 1 second on the car behind. So F2 cooking up its usual carnage as usual. So a reminder that no one should be pitting this lap. unless his ZC Hypes has got damage. I don't know why he is pitting. Antivirus is also pitting, and so is Harley. Now, I don't know if these guys have damage, or they have forgotten that they cannot pit lap 1 because it does not count. You cannot pit on the first 2 laps. It does not count as your mandatory pit stop, which means these guys who are putting on those hard tyres are going to have to pit again. They're either going to have to go back onto those soft tyres they've just taken off, or they're going to have to go onto another pair of hards, which they're going to need for the sprint race. So we have 7 cars in the pits, or sorry, 8 cars in the pits. All of them are going to have to pit again. So like I said, I don't know if any of them had damage. If they had damage, then maybe you could debate why they've come in, but even then, if you had damage, you're behind a safety car, I'd just chill. So once again, they can't pit this lap either. It's from lap 3 into lap 4. Cars can begin to make their mandatory pit stop. Also, another reminder, you can pit under safety car to switch your mandatory tyres after lap 3. You cannot pit under a VSC for your mandatory pit stop. That does not count either. So once again, I think similar to what happened in Season 1, a lot of people just don't know how F2 rules work, or they've just forgotten. I'm very surprised that ZC Hypes has come in, being that he was part of Season 1. Maybe he's just forgotten or made a mistake, who knows. Also got the red Mercedes safety car. My opinion looks nowhere near as good as the Aston Martin one, but we'll deal with it. So we're going to wait for the rest of the pack to catch up. I think the safety car will be out for one more lap after this one, and we should be back underway and hopefully get to see some racing. So apparently that carnage at the start was caused by someone in the back 5. I hope it wasn't one of the 3 randomers. We've got some position changes. I don't know if that's just people going side by side under the safety car. So ZC Hypes and Antivirus have practically been taken out of this race because they're going to have to pit again. So it's going to be up to the likes of Sammy and Chav, who's made all his way up to P3 because of those pit stops, to take the fight to QWERTY. Right, so safety car is in this lap. QWERTY's going to control the pace through the 3rd sector. Meanwhile, I think FG Profiles has come together with Mayhem's. He's missing pretty much his left front wing, so that's not good to see. But we're going to jump on board with Sammy behind the leader QWERTY. Is QWERTY going to go early before the final corner, try and catch up those behind him? Is he going to go late, try and accelerate down the straight? We'll see how racy these guys get The FG Profile has another 5-second penalty, so just carnage at the back. QWERTY's gone. He's gone early. He's going to tuck over to the right-hand side to try and break the slipstream. But we should be back underway. Green flag racing now. So QWERTY doing very well there to catch out those cars behind. See if there's just anyone else making a move. I think everyone's just going to touch. Kieran Froome going deep into turn 1. That allows Plazy to come through. Any other fights going on at the back? Doesn't look it so far. We're going to jump on board with Matty and Lewis the Beast on the back of Travis Gould for the battle for the final podium position. Lewis the Beast seems to get a better run out of the sector 1 lines. We'll see if he can maybe have a go at Travis Gould. He's going to get a much better exit actually. I don't know if he's running just a lower downforce setup. He's not going to have that drag. No DRS, remember, for the first 2 laps after a safety car. Is he going to try and dive up the inside? No, he's just going to hold back for now. And he's going to hold his ground in 4th position. Meanwhile, we've got Epic Warrior, ZC Hypes going for a fight. ZC Hypes going to go around the outside up into 11th. He's now going to be on the back of Juicy in his fight back to try and get back up to the grid. FG Profile has retired from the session. He presumably just went straight through the barrier, and we have another safety car. This is F2, guys. This is F2, where 80% of the race is spent behind the safety car. Fantastic. So now everyone can make their mandatory stop, which I'm very surprised as why the front guys didn't come in. So now it's advantage Lewis the Beast in my eyes. Mayhem's picked up a speeding penalty. Off come the softs, on go the hards. He can now stay on those hards for the rest of the race. Meanwhile, those in front all have to pit again. So it'll be interesting to see if some of these guys come in this lap. But surely in that time, Lewis the Beast is going to catch up with the rest of the pack and they're going to lose track position. I'm honestly stunned. The safety car came in while they were going through the final sector, so they should have had enough time to react. Unless they were just passing the pit lane. Juicy is retired from the session. Mayhem's has come out with a brand new front wing, also back out on soft, so he's probably going to have to pit again. So he's not looking in great shape for this race or the sprint. So now Lewis the Beast has caught up with the track. Let's just swap it to the leader. Yeah, so he's 13 seconds behind the leader. Anyone who comes in front of him is going to come out behind him. Just check out as well on those tyres, so yeah, everyone having to pit again in front of Lewis the Beast, so he's technically in provisional first place right now. So not pitting. Sammy is pitting. Chav is pitting. Oh, Matty's going to go for the overtake in the pit lane. Trying to do a Sebastian Vettel at China. Just pulls back. I would have gone for it, Matty, mate. Would have had him, actually. So these guys are all pitting a lap later than everyone else. So Lewis the Beast is going to go, thank you for that. That's about 6 positions I'm going to gain. Following my tyres has got a 5-second penalty. ZC Hypes is back up in 3rd, but he's going to have to pit again. QWERTY's going to maybe go long on those softs. Obviously you have to do a mandatory pit stop, so unless he's banking on a 3rd safety car, which to be fair it's F2, wouldn't put it past him. So while we've got this downtime for the second safety car, it's hard to think of what to talk about. Make sure you check out the new F1ABEEZ website. So everything you need to know about the league is held. Also check out the merch. Currently a 25% discount on all clothing items. So make sure you go check out the F1ABEEZ merch store and pick up some clothing, 25% off. Oh, hypes! Jesus, man. Almost losing it under the safety car. Just check Ericsson's not behind him. So, for the second time in this France feature race, we're going to be underway under safety car. QWERTY managed to catch out Sammy, who was in second under the first safety car. Is he going to go earlier this time? Is he going to go later? Looks like he went early again, and once again has caught second place out. I think we're all good behind there. Let's just check that there's no other fights going on. I think everyone else is just going to be nice and casual through down into turn 1. Mr. Lethal Pete going a little bit late, and then ZC Hype's going for the switchback. They're going to go side by side now. I think ZC Hype does have the move done. Is Mr. Lethal Pete going to come back around him on the outside through turn 3? ZC Hype's fantastic move. Saw Mr. Lethal Pete go deep into turn 1. Does the switchback into turn 2 and up into second place. Brilliant move there from the UNI car up into P2. He's going to really have to get the jets on now. He's got to build up a pit stop to Lewis the Beast, who's down in 8th place. We'll jump on board with him. He's on the back of the Carlin of Jay Westlake. Also on the hard tyres. Obviously, again, no DRS, but he's clearly running. Got that drag, got that downforce. Is he going to make a deep run down into the chicane? Is he going to brake later? He's going to think about it, but just pull back for now. Maybe hoping that Jay Westlake has a thing that's a little bit of a scrap. Two cars ghosted. Harley and Epic Warrior in the fight for 5th place. Lewis the Beast getting past Jay Westlake then. Must have had a better exit out of the chicane up into 7th place. He's going to start chasing down these guys in front who are going to have a battle. Epic Warrior going around as a yellow flag. Don't know what that's for. I think that's at the back, and that's Kappa Cams. Epic Warrior letting Lewis the Beast go from the looks of it. There's El Glasses coming up the inside. Interesting move there. El Glasses, I think he went off the track. Yeah, he's going to have to give that position back, surely. Oh, and almost sweeping there behind. Yeah, he's going to have to completely give that position back. I thought so. That he went off the track making that overtake. But ZC Hype's picking up the penalty. 3-second penalty. Here's Travis School on Jay Westlake, who's about to lose another position down into turn 1. Travis School's got the inside line. Easy move there from Travis, except he decides to drive off the track and pick up a 3-second penalty. Got to be careful that he doesn't lose the position as well to Jay Westlake. That'd be an absolute nightmare for him. He's going to hold on to it and get P6 at the moment. Meanwhile, we've got Harley on the back of Antivirus in the fight for P3. DRS might be active, maybe. I think it's one more lap. I could be wrong. We'll keep an eye on that rear wing just in case. But I think DRS isn't active yet. It isn't. One more lap of no more DRS. We've also got the Matty on the back of his teammate. Is there team orders at Carlin? Probably not. But as well as Kieran True picking up a 3-second penalty, is Matty going to look to dive up the inside, coming down towards the chicane? Doesn't pull back, and that is why you might want to pull back. The two Carlin cars have come together. Jay Westlake hitting the Matty. It's hard to tell whose fault that was at the time. I think there's a reason. We've seen a lot of cars go side by side coming down towards that chicane, and the attacker just pulled back for now. The Matty wasn't going to give that up and finds himself losing 4 positions because of it. Meanwhile, we've got Sammy and Glasses fighting. Also Harley getting to Tom and Antivirus, who's gone wide, trying to get that run. You've got to be careful taking the inside line of the left-hander with another yellow flag. I think that's Kappa Cams at the back once again, spinning. This is the fight we're going to stay on board with. QWERTY now finally coming in to the pits. The leader is going to pit probably about 4 laps after what he should have. DRS is now enabled, so you're within 1 second of the car ahead. You're going to get DRS, just gives you an extra speed, gives you about an extra 10 or 11 miles per hour down straight. There's QWERTY coming in. You see everyone gaining the position because of that. He's going to come out probably around about 12th or 13th, which is not great for QWERTY, who was on course to win this race if he just came into the pits under the safety car. Don't know why he didn't. Also got Sammy on the back of Westlake. That gap came down really quickly. Matty also looking to recover, can see his teammate again. Let's hope he doesn't make the second mistake. But here's going to be the first action zone between Harley and Antivirus. DRS to help him along this back straight now. Is he close enough coming into the chicane? Doesn't look like it, unless he makes a very, very late move. He's going to have to hang back for now. Have a little look to see if he can maybe have a run up. Remember, just stay on board for now, just to see if there's a run. We're going to quickly jump on board with Plazy. He's going to look to go up the inside, breaks a little bit earlier. Travis Hall leaves him space. And because of that, Plazy's just allowed to just dance around the outside and say, thank you very much, Trav, I'm going to have that position. Oh, the good old feint, that one. Pretty feint to make that dive down the inside. The car has to give you more space, so you're expecting you to dive. And you just go, thank you, I'm just going to take the normal racing line and get past you. Trav is going to look to maybe go up the inside. Dangerous move. He's going to just be really dangerous on that braking zone. It's going to be a really good move if he can get it done. Around the inside, Plazy did come across but lost his back end and therefore lose it. And there comes El Glasses up the inside of Chav. They're going to touch. Chav has to go off the track. But El Glasses comes through. Now there might have been a bit of contact there, but that was absolutely brilliant to watch on the helicopter cam. Chav trying his chances up the inside of Plazy. Got the move done, but there was El Glasses who just had that momentum to just come sweeping down the inside of both of them and get two positions in the space of two corners. So really nice racing there from those three. All three of them should have another fight coming down towards turn one. We've also got Harley right on the back of Antivirus. Is he going to try and tease it up the inside of turn three? I think he's going to wait for that DRS zone down the straight. Just see what's happening. Chavis just dropped off the back of Plazy slightly. He's going to look to get on the back of El Glasses down the DRS straight. But we're going to hop back on board with the Trident of Harley as he comes on the back of the Campos of Antivirus. Can he make a move? He's a lot closer than what he was on the last lap. Has he got that momentum? Antivirus just seems to have so much more top speed. Is he going to look to make a move? Antivirus defends the inside, but he's going to go for it down the inside. Here comes Harley. Are they going to touch again? They do touch again, and Harley is around. So that's the second driver we've seen diving up the inside of that corner and spinning. 2 into 1 just don't go. And once again, another car spinning. I'm sure that's going to be another report for the exact same corner for the stewards to have a look at, and what they decide will be an interesting one. Meanwhile, this fight is still going on. Chavez dropped right off from Plazy, but as these two fight, he may look to come round as Plazy is going to look to dance around the outside of the long right-hander. Can he make a move? Glass is just going to come off, but there's the switchback of Plazy down the inside. Can he make the move? El Glass is just hanging on around the outside. So really nice racing from these two in the fight for 5th place. Got 5 laps to go of this race. Remember, it's the top 8 that gets flipped. The top 10 get points. CC Hypes up into 1st place, setting the fastest lap of the race. Remember, he has to pit again. Has already built up a really nice gap to Antivirus. 8 seconds we're looking at now. So obviously he's going to have to make a much bigger gap if he wants to win this race. Antivirus has gone wide out of turn 2, which gives Lewis the Beast a chance, maybe down into turn 3 to dive up the inside. Here he goes. He's going to take the wider line. Antivirus is going to hang it around the inside this time, but then Lewis the Beast is going to have the inside line into turn 5. Be interested to see who will cross the DRS activation zone first. I think it's going to be Antivirus who does go wide, which means Lewis the Beast is going to have DRS but does go wide and goes off the track. I hope he doesn't get a penalty for that. He doesn't. He's right on the back of Antivirus now. Should have enough speed to make the move done. He's going for the outsides. Antivirus going for the inside. So we've seen already 2 drivers spin. Antivirus is just going to brake a little bit earlier. Just hold off for now. Lewis the Beast up into 2nd place. Remember, he is technically the provisional leader as he has had this provisional pit stop, whereas ZC Hypes hasn't. So he's going to have to pit again. Antivirus isn't giving this up though. He seems to have just so much top speed down the straights. Is he going to try and dance up the inside or outside of Lewis the Beast? Going to really get on that accelerator nice and aggressively to try and get that momentum. Careful on the back end there, a little bit of a snap. Just manages to grab it. And I think for now, Antivirus is going to have to chill in 3rd place. Meanwhile, this fight for 5th place between El Glasses and Plazy is still going on. Mayhem picking up 3 seconds. Let's just do a quick penalty check, shall we? So everyone has got a penalty. Everyone has got a penalty apart from Matty, QWERTY, and Lethal Pete. So Antivirus on a 5, El Glasses on a 6. could see some shuffling. I just downed like a litre of Coke. That's why I look burpy. Excuse me. But everyone on hards, apart from Mayhems, who has had 3 stops this race, he's going to be an absolute nightmare in the sprint. That's going to be a corner cut from Plazy. So Antivirus now just managing to stay within a second of Lewis DeBeese. He should have DRS. I think he crossed the DRS zone in time. We'll have a look as he crosses the DRS line. Has he got DRS? He hasn't. So really nice work there from Lewis DeBeese breaking DRS. But someone who hasn't managed to break DRS is Antivirus himself, who's now going to be under pressure from Harley for the final podium positions. Matty on the back of Chav, 2 F1ABEEZ admins. Is Matty going to make the same mistake? He's going to dial up the inside this time, but is he going to be given enough space, or is he going to be sent spinning again this time? First time we're seeing 2 cars go side by side into that corner and not spinning. Good job from those 2. Chav is going to hold on to the position though. Matty has to chill in 8th place. They've got to be careful not to fight too much. They've also got the Prema of Sammy behind them as well, as Plazy picks up about his 15th millionth 3-second penalty. Harley on the back of Antivirus in P3 as well. I think this is going to be the fight to watch at the moment. We've also got Matty on the back of Chav to look at as well. There's a yellow flag at the back. I think there's a spin. Might be for, I think that's for Jay Westlake, who's DNF'd. Could that bring out another safety car baby with 3 laps to go? I don't think it will, thankfully. Here comes Harley on Antivirus. Is he going to look for the dive up his turbo? He's going to go for the inside line. Just holds back for now, just making sure that Antivirus doesn't go around the outside, but he's going to go for the switchback. Harley, really nice work. We saw CC Hypes do it earlier in this race and it came off. Is it going to come off this time? Is he going to look to dive up the inside? Just holds back again. Antivirus holding on to P3 at the moment, but it's got to be careful because Harley right on the back of him now is going to have that DRS advantage down the straight. Once again, we just hit Antivirus's back end just step out a little bit. You could say that he looked absolutely rapid down the straight, so maybe that's just him running a lower downforce setup. But here comes Harley though, he seems to have a lot of pace down the straight as well. Is he going to look to go diving up the inside? He's going to be patient for now. He's seen too many cars spinning around in that corner. He says, you know what, I'm going to wait, my time is coming right now down the second straight as Antivirus picks up another 3-second penalty. I don't think he's going to try and send it up the inside of this right hander, surely not. Is he going to try and maybe go dancing around the inside or outside of this long right-hander? It's a brilliant overtaking opportunity if you can nail it, but I don't think he's going to be close enough unless he's absolutely aggressive as hell on that acceleration pedal. Actually going to run a tiny little bit wide. There's the stranded car of the Carlin. For now, Antivirus has done pretty well, considering it was about 2 tenths that have separated this entire lap. ZC Hypes has built up a 12.2 second gap. It's not going to be enough to get P1. I don't think it's going to be enough to get P3. I think he might come out around this El Glass's Plazy fight, which is still going on. I feel like this has been dragging on since the second safety car. El Glasses is still in front of them at the moment, but we'll keep an eye on that. There's another penalty for Mayhems. Antivirus is going to hold on for 2 more laps from this fight for Harley, the final podium positions. I think that's QWERTY getting past Matty into turn 1. Matty looking to fight around the outside. Can he get onto it? They're going to go side by side down towards turn 3. Matty's got the outside. QWERTY has the inside. QWERTY stays ahead. Matty picks up a 3-second penalty. Now onto the back straight we go. Harley 3 tenths behind Antivirus. Nowhere near as close enough as he was on the last lap. He didn't make the move that lap. I don't think he's going to make the move this lap either, unless he gets a really good exit out of the chicane down to the second straight. I think he's going to spend another lap behind Antivirus. He might have just jumped on the curb a little bit, lost him a little bit of time there. And yeah, no DRS down the second straight, just completely all drag, all slipstream, which still has an effect. As you can see, Harley gain on Antivirus, might make a move maybe, as I said last lap, down this long winding right-hander. Even through him, 3-second penalty galore. We're about to go on to the last lap. ZC Hypes is coming into the pits. He's going to make his mandatory pit stop. I hope everyone else who pitted comes in this lap as well, as they're going to get straight disqualified. There's going to be a lot of confused messages in the Discord after this saying, hey, why did I get disqualified? ZC Hype's coming in, he's going to come and get those softs on, which means Lewis the Beast is going to inherit the lead and should inherit the win of the race. But here you go, everyone else coming in, Virus coming in, Harley coming in. So we're going to see a right mix-up for the podium position. So Lewis the Beast up into P1, which means this fight for P5 that's been going on is now a fight for P2. L Glasses and Plazy are both in a podium position. But here comes ZC Hypes though. It's going to be close. Is it L Glasses going to go diving up the inside? ZC Hypes is going to hold the outside. They don't touch. ZC Hypes is just going to hold the inside. L Glasses goes wide, but ZC Hypes loses the back end. And now he's behind it. Here comes Plazy. Through to L Glasses. He's going to have the inside line for turn 3. Is he going to try and dive up? He's just going to stay behind him now. ZC Hypes. Oh, and he's hit the back of him. He hasn't lost his front wing, thankfully. But here comes QWERTY though. We've got a four-way fight for 2 podium positions. Here comes ZC Hypes. He's just cut the corner though. He's come across. He's got to be careful. All of them losing their back end from the look of it. And here's Travis Cole. He's looking absolutely rapid. Coming out towards the straight. He's going to have QWERTY down the straight. Plazy might have ZC Hypes. We're going to quickly jump on and have a look at the penalties. We can sort of suss it out. But Chav at the moment is going to get second place. But QWERTY comes diving up the outside. He hasn't got a penalty. So he's actually going to grab second place. Out of nowhere, a 2-way fight has turned into a 5-way fight. ZC Hypes looking to get up the inside. L Glass has got 9 seconds worth of penalties. That's not good for him. Here comes Hypes. He's on those soft tyres. Tried up the inside. Couldn't get it. Is he going to try around the long right-hander? Inside or outside. Has to stamp on the brakes to make sure he doesn't go into the back of L Glasses there. The fight is still going on. That Garland still hasn't been cleared. What the steward's doing. L Glasses looks to hold on, but here comes ZC Hype on the switchback. Careful not to touch. ZC Hypes has come through. Penalties are going to decide it. Here is Lewis the Beast. Here is your first feature race winner of the season. Lewis the Beast wins the France feature race. Great race from him, but it's not decided who will get the final 2 podium positions. It's going to be ZC Hypes who should get third, and I think QWERTY is going to grab second. They cross the line now. ZC Hypes gets third. QWERTY gets second. No, he doesn't. There's Chav who gets third. Travis gets a penalty, gets a podium in the feature race, the first of the season. Matty up into 4th. A great recovery from him after contact with his teammate. ZC Hypes down in 5th. Not a good finish for him. I think he'll be absolutely kicking himself about that early pit stop he made, because he showed he made up 12 seconds on the eventual race leader. Plazy and L Glasses, who were fighting the entire time for 5th, found themselves suddenly fighting for a podium, but they finished 6th and 7th. Sammy in P8, which means he is our sprint race pole position leader. I don't know who got fastest lap. It was ZC Hypes, so he gets 2 points extra added onto his total. But wow, what a race that was. 2 early safety cars made it a little bit frustrating. This race really came to life in those final few laps. 2-way fight for the podium turned into a 5-way fight, and just as it comes to show, it comes down to penalties. QWERTY managed to keep his nose clean, didn't pick up any corner cutting penalties, and managed to grab second place. So it's an ART double podium. Obviously there's no constructors for F2. Let's jump it in the Discord to see what people are saying about that. Plazy and Glasses are having a bit of an argument, which is a shame because I thought their fight was really good to watch. But there is confirmation of the points. Lewis the Beast picks up the first win of the F2 season. QWERTY, the only person not to pick up any penalties in the top 10, he gets second. Chav gets a podium, P3 for Travis, the owner of the league. Matty in P4, great recovery drive from him. ZC Hypes, P5, he'll be disappointed with that. Did manage to pick up the 2 extra points for fastest lap though. I think he'll certainly be looking to fight back in the sprint. Plazy and Glasses had some fantastic fights in the second half of that race. They come home 6th and 7th. Meanwhile, Sammy comes home in 8th. Antivirus will be kicking himself as well, being up there in the podium positions for the entire race, but obviously pitting early. Didn't have his mandatory pit stop, therefore he gets 9th. So that is the feature over. Still a sprint to go though. 11 laps of the sprint where no pit stops are needed. Comes down fully to pace and wheel-to-wheel driving. The rule is with the sprint race is if you need to pit, your race is practically over. You never really want to pit under a sprint race unless everyone pits. So we're going to wait for everyone to ready up so we can get into the sprint race. Okay, sorry about that, guys. We should be back now. There was a problem with the lobby, so we've had to do a quick lobby reset. Wouldn't be F1 without a lobby reset. Right, let's quickly remake the grid. Wait, why even do that? There you go. Grid. So, so Sammy goes up to first. QWERTY, L-Glass is second. Easy's in third. Pipes is in fourth. Matty fifth. Chav, QWERTY, Lewis. Chav, QWERTY, Lewis. And then from there it's Antivirus. Kieran. Harley Kappa. Epic Warrior. Juicy. Jake. DJ. Firm changes. I need to hit spectate. So hopefully I've done the points correctly, or done the qualifying correctly. I think that's the one criticism I'll have of this league, is that I think this season was started far too early. The game is still buggy as hell. Like, it wasn't too bad in Tier 1. I don't know how the other tiers went. You guys can let me know in the chat how Tier 2 and all that went. I didn't have too many problems in Tier 1. I had problems in qualifying, but I had no problems during the race. So usually the sprint is 11 laps. That's broken. So we've now had to do a 25% feature, which is 8 laps. Which, unfortunately, as I said towards the end of the feature, usually you don't have to pit in the sprint. I think the drivers are all going to have to pit once, which is a little bit annoying because that's the glory of the sprint, really. And the top 8 get points. The game will give the top 10 points. But it's only the top 8 get points. So there's going to be no formation lap. We're going to get straight underway. 5 lights on. This game is just incredible, isn't it, lads? Alright, now we're away for the sprint in quotation marks. Chav has got another insane start. I think he's going to have a go around L Glasses for P2. Coming into turn 1, he's going to brake late. There's already a yellow flag. Chav is going to get up into second place. What an insane start from Travis once again. There's yellow flags at the back. Cars going off. There's a UNI just all over the place. Plazy's been disqualified for being parked in a dangerous location. But Chav is up into P2. That's QWERTY going wide. Coming through at the back. L Glasses is hit. Matty. Is there a safety car? Is that why everyone has slowed down? There might be a safety car. Well, there hasn't been a safety car. I think it's just all the engines have cut out again because this game is fantastic. Sammy has just driven off in the distance. Is this ZC Hypes maybe looking to have a move on Matty for P4? Antivirus coming up the inside of Lewis the Beast, the feature race winner, but there's the Juicy at the back. He's sort of been pushed off the track by Antivirus there, but he's going to come back on and get that position. Don't know if the game's going to ask him to give it back. That's a different story. Also got QWERTY on the back of ZC Hypes for P5. Oh, this engine. Can I spectate someone who has engine sounds, please? Should we just jump on board with the leader? Got a nice 4-way battle here for P3. We got ZC Hypes on the back of Matty, maybe looking to go around the outside, but looking with that switchback, he's got to be careful because there's QWERTY in the ART car. Got to be careful not to just cut into front of him. But look, ZC Hypes looking down the inside. He's sort of using Matty as a buffer to stop himself from spinning. But gets the move done, but Matty's going to dive up the inside, which is going to give ZC Hypes enough of a run to just get straight back past him and up into P4. Matty maybe look to just dive up the inside, but if he's smart enough, he's just going to hang back for now. But he's not going to be smart enough because there's there's QWERTY, sorry, who's got in front of his teammate Lewis the Beast, just staying behind Matty, and now Lewis is going to see his opportunity to get past him. There's a yellow flag at the back. Let's see what that is caused by. I think it's just some cars playing bumper cars, and there's Matty once again looking to dive up the inside of a driver and almost losing it. Manages to catch it this time. 2 ART cars fighting between each other for the battle for 6th. Capacams has got a 2-second penalty. The Juicy has got a 2-second penalty. So lap 2 of 8, still no DRS as of yet. That will be opened up next lap. And as I said, I'm pretty sure no one has to pit. They might have to pit, actually. I've never done a 25% F2 feature race, so I don't know if they pit or not. There's L Glasses just deciding he wants to drive off the track and deservedly gets a 2-second penalty for it. So he's got to be careful now because that 2-second penalty drops him to somewhere like 9th. Here's QWERTY on the inside of Matty, sweeping into the right-hander. Matty's going to get the switch back on him down the inside of the long right-hander. Here we go. Oh, and Matty's driven to hit the back of him once again. Manages to save the spin somehow, but he's been caught by Antivirus and fully spins this time. Matty basically Tokyo drifted around that right-hander. and finds himself all the way back in P12. He's got to be careful not to come back onto the track though and hit someone else, so that's disappointing to see. We've got ZC Hypes, Else Glasses battling with Chav. ZC Hypes is just going to hold back and maybe let's pick up the scraps from this. El Glasses around the outside of Chav, and Chav has got to be careful, almost losing it, and does going to lose that position to ZC Hypes, who's now going to have a look at El Glasses for P2. It's the fastest lap of the race while he's at it as well. Is he going to try up the inside? Just going to hang back for now. Sammy still leads though. DRS is enabled, so all of these guys are going to get DRS. Look at the gaps between all of them. You've got Dejuicy on the back of Anti-Vac as well. Anti-Vac, Antivirus, Anti-Vac. Lewis the Beast picks up a 2-second penalty, which isn't great in an 8-lap race. You don't really want penalties. We saw how much it changes the grid for the feature. And with everyone this close for just such a short race, a penalty can drop you from points all the way out. There's Chav, who's really dropping down the field now, down into P4. Is ZC Hypes going to get a move done on El Glasses, or is El Glasses going to get moved on Sammy? We're going to have a three-way fight now. El Glasses is going to look up the inside for the chicane. Might go 3 abreast. ZC Hype's just thinking about it. There's Sammy going sweeping around the outside. El Glasses looking to hang it around and does lose it. I don't know if he was hit or if he just lost it himself, but Glasses is now pretty much out of the fight for first place. And with that contact, ZC Hypes goes flying through. I think he will be laughing and shaking his hands together for that now, because he is up into P1. We saw the pace that he had. He should maybe go on and win this now. And I think Sammy, who's starting on pole, has had more problems. He's down in 10th now. I think he had a little mini spin. There was a yellow flag for just a second through the third sector. Also got Antivirus, who just loses. That was the worst time to get on boards with the Campos driver. He has spun, so he is out. So we've already had 3 cars out in the front spinning. Matty is pitting. I don't know if that means people have to pit or if he's got damage. We're just going to jump on board to see if he's getting his front wing changed or not. Is he getting his front wing changed? He isn't. So maybe they do have to pit. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. So ZC Hype's already building up around a second gap to QWERTY, which means QWERTY's not going to get DRS down the straight. ZC Hype goes a little bit wide though. He's got to be careful not to pick up a 2-second penalty, as QWERTY went the entirety of the feature race without picking up a penalty. Don't want to hand him another position based just on penalties. And there's Lewis the Beast on Chav, but Chav's going to brake later than Lewis the Beast and gets the move done. Chav losing the position down the straight, but just going to go, do you know what? I'm going to brake later. I'm going to get the position. Oh, and ZC Hypes has had a moment. I missed that. I was on board with Chav and Lewis for their fight. I think he must have had a mini spin coming out of the chicane, which lets QWERTY through, which means once again ZC Hypes has got to do the chasing. Got to chase down the ART car for QWERTY. Antivirus picking up a 2-second penalty. Not good for him. And there's the 2-second penalty for ZC Hypes, which already brings in Chav, who's 1.6 behind if he can just keep up with the 2 rapid leaders at the moment. ZC Hypes is going to have DRS down the pit lane straight. QWERTY's going to just swerve to the right to try and break that slipstream. He can't swerve more than once though, remember, especially coming down into the braking zone now. Is ZC Hypes going to have a look up the inside, just going to hang back? We've already seen him do a switchback once. Is he going to try another switchback? Don't think he's close enough this time. He's going to have to sit in second place for now. Meanwhile, we've got Lewis the Beast on the back of Chav, who's lost time dramatically to the front too. Here comes Lewis the Beast, so close to coming together. Chav just staying around the outside. There's a yellow flag at the back. I think that's Kappa and Jake who have come together, both out of it completely. Guys at the back have all pitted. Like I said, whether that means they have to pit or not is a different story. We could see a move from ZC Hypes on QWERTY now, coming down towards the end of the chicane. ZC Hypes is going to take the outside line. QWERTY is going to take the inside line. QWERTY just holding on for now. A little bit of a love tap. Hopefully he didn't sustain front wing damage. Doesn't look like he did. There's another yellow flag at the back. I think that's Lewis the Beast. Lewis the Beast has lost it down the straight, which makes me think there was contact, because it's very, very rare to lose your back end down a straight. But Lewis the Beast now down in 10th place to another driver who has lost a good chance of points now. Oh, and it's the Juicy who's at the back of his teammate. I don't know if he would have picked up front wing damage from that. It looks like it's okay. But the last thing the two BWT cars is going to come together. Chav in 3rd at the moment has lost those front two dramatically. And there's the Juicy. Oh, and there's a chain reaction. 3 cars going around in sync. That looked absolutely incredible. Now, I don't know if that was a chain reaction of Harley hitting glasses and glasses into the Juicy. That was a little bit of lag there. I don't know if that's my end or his end. But 3 cars spinning. That looked absolutely incredible. Someone please clip that. The Juicy picks up another 2-second penalty. ZC Hypes has got back past QWERTY for the lead of the race, but that's not going to be enough. He's got a 2-second penalty. He's got to build up a 2-second gap in order to keep that win. So the Juicy, Glasses, Harley, Lewis the Beast all spinning. Matty also was up in front as well, spinning. Which brings the light of DG Rocker, who we barely saw in the feature race because he was one of the first people to DNF. He's up in 4th. I say that as he picks up a 2-second penalty. I should just shut my mouth when I look at these people as he almost loses it there as well. But we're going to jump back on board with the fight for the lead. This is the battle that matters at the moment. Hypes is going to try and break that slipstream coming down into the chicane. Hypes is going to hold on to it at the moment. I like jumping on board with QWERTY because he's got engine sound. Hypes looking to swerve right to left to try and break the slipstream, but here comes QWERTY. Is he going to try up the long right hander? Just holds back for now. Might have a go around the sweeping right hander maybe. Is he going to go inside or outside? Is he going to be braver on the accelerator than Hypes? I think he's just going to hold back for now with 2.5 laps to go of this race. He knows he doesn't really need to overtake ZC Hypes. He's just got to stay within 2 seconds and he will pick up the win. There'll be a double podium for him, which should give him the lead of the championship after the first round. It doesn't look like you need to pit under a 25%. So the field is starting to spread out a little bit now. ZC Hype setting the fastest lap of the race. Only 2 or 3 real close battles going on at the moment. We've got Harley on the back of Antivirus in P6. The Juicy also on the back over L Glasses. This is the battle that we're going to focus on for at least the final 2 laps. ZC Hypes and QWERTY. QWERTY's just got to stay within that 2-second window because ZC Hypes did pick up a 2-second penalty. As we're seeing penalty galore now, there's a yellow flag. There's a BWT car spinning around. That's the Juicy. And that's pretty much his sprint race over. He's now out of the points unless he can suddenly catch up to Lewis the Beast in 2 laps. There's someone off the track. There's IFC Glasses, who I don't know if he's just gone straight into the wall of his own control. He lost it, and now he is out of the points, which puts the Juicy back into the points. QWERTY hanging with ZC Hypes at the moment. We're just going to double check penalties. So yeah, DG Rocker 8 seconds. There's another car, I think that's Glasses, is now retired from the session. Disappointing for him. He is out of the race. Our only DNF so far, apart from Blazy, who we lost for just being inactive on the grid. So yeah, 8 seconds for DG Rocker's going to drop him probably down to P6 at the moment. These guys are the cluster for the final points. Oh, and there's a spin! ZC Hypes has spun! Oh, Hypes. His ZC Hype washed. Insert Rosberg meme. He's spun, which means he's 100% lost the lead now. I mean, he might have lost it anyway because of QWERTY not having any penalties. But on the penultimate lap, ZC Hypes has spun, which has just gifted QWERTY the win. I think that's pretty much cemented his second place unless he spins again. So DG Rocker has been disqualified for picking up too many penalties, which is disappointing for him because he might have actually got points. So we've had 2 disqualifications. We have more disqualifications than DNFs in this race. That says a lot. But on the final lap now of the sprint race, even though it's only featured because the game bugged out, QWERTY looks like he's home and dry unless he has a really bad moment through the third sector. It's been a messy weekend so far, the first F2 weekend of the new season. I think I'm going to have to do a couple of announcements actually explaining to people how F2 works, since there was some confusion surrounding the fact that there was a second race after the feature, and the fact that you can't pit for the first 2 laps. Presumably you have to tell them they can't pit under VSC either. One man who hasn't had a problem with F2 cars this weekend has been QWERTY. Picked up a podium in the feature race, and he's going to pick up the win in the sprint, which should give him the championship lead after round 1. QWERTY crosses the line. He is the France sprint race winner. Gets fastest lap as well, so even better for him. Hypes is going to come home in second place. Chav, 2 podiums in a row, third and third for Chav. He'll be absolutely chuffed with that, I'm sure. Harley gets 4th after antivirus's penalties. Lewis de Beast should cross the line and get 6th, so disappointing from the feature race winner, but he does get points at least. Juicy comes home in 7th after his spin. Capacams comes home in 8th. Sorry, comes home in 9th. That's Matty with less penalties, picking up the final point of the sprint race. Sammy will come home in 11th, and then Kieran Froome and Epic Warrior have enough scrap for 12th place. Some interesting fighting going on at the back here as both of them drive off the track to try and make the overtake. Kieran Froome should keep 12th, as I say that as he drives to 13th. Harley gets driver of the day. But there you go. So apologies for the bug between the feature and the sprint. Hopefully there's no problem next week. But I hope you all enjoyed this F2 France series. 2 ART winners in the feature and sprint. And I'll see you all next week, exact same time. And let's hope we get some decent racing, as we saw some glimpse of it today. See you later, guys.